Okay, so we all see the incredible promise of AI, right? But behind the scenes, a completely different conversation is happening in boardrooms. It's a conversation about a hidden financial crisis, the massive, often invisible costs that sneak in when you try to scale AI. So let's pull back the curtain and look at this really critical side of the AI revolution.
I want you to think about AI costs a little differently. They aren't just another line item for the IT department. No, they are a fundamental business risk, and they're hiding right inside your profit margins. And if you don't get a handle on them, they can silently, completely destroy your profitability. This isn't a tech problem, it's a strategic one.
And the scale of this problem? It is absolutely staggering. 85%. That's the percentage of companies that literally cannot forecast their AI costs within a 10% margin of error. Think about that. In a world that runs on financial predictability, the vast majority of businesses are just flying blind on what's becoming one of their biggest new expenses.
And that lack of predictability, well, it has a very real, very painful consequence. 84% of companies are reporting that their AI costs are already eating away at their product gross margins. So even if they can't predict the costs, they can definitely see the damage that's being done to the bottom line right now.
So what we're looking at here isn't just a little challenge or a growing pain. The data points to a widespread, systemic issue. It's a full-blown crisis of margin erosion and chaotic forecasting, and it's hitting companies hard, whether they realize the full extent of it or not.
Let's make this real. Imagine you've got a star product, a cash cow with a healthy 80% gross margin. Now, the research shows that over a quarter of companies are seeing AI costs hit them for 1,600 basis points, or even more. All of a sudden, that star product is down to a 64% margin. The impact is just massive. It's potentially devastating.
Okay, so this begs the question, right? If the damage is so clear, why is it so hard to pin these costs down? The answer takes us from the what of the problem to the why, and it all starts with a total breakdown in visibility.
And the answer really boils down to what we're calling the visibility breakdown. It's this combination of two really powerful forces. One, the sheer complexity of modern AI infrastructure, and two, these dangerous gaps in what companies are actually able to see and track.
See, the first problem is that complexity is just the new normal. 61% of companies are running their AI workloads in a hybrid environment. That's a mix of public cloud, on-prem servers, you name it. This kind of fragmentation makes getting one single clear picture of your total costs incredibly difficult.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because this is where most companies are looking in the completely wrong direction. Everyone is worried about LLM token costs, but look, that's only the fifth biggest surprise. The real budget busters are the things you might not even be tracking, like data platform usage and network fees. The financial risk is so much broader than most leaders assume.
You know the old saying, you can't manage what you don't measure? And right now, companies just aren't measuring. Only about a third even bother to include their own on-prem costs in their AI reporting. And get this, half of companies don't even track the API costs for the models their products depend on. These aren't small gaps, they are massive financial blind spots.
So if the problem is visibility, what's the solution? You might think it's some fancy new software, but it's not. The answer is all about incentives. The research uncovered this night and day difference between companies that actually charge for their AI features and those that just give them away for free. This is the whole ballgame.
And when you put the numbers side by side, the difference is it's stunning. When companies charge for AI, 70% of them track their costs precisely. But when it's free, that number just plummets to 29%. Monetizing also forces companies to use real-time alerts and attribute costs properly. It's just so clear. Revenue accountability creates a discipline that is otherwise completely, totally absent.
And that discipline, well, it naturally leads to maturity. The data shows that companies that monetize their AI are way more likely to have advanced cost management practices. It makes sense, right? Charging for your products simply forces you to grow up fast and invest in the governance you need to protect those precious margins.
So, why? Why does monetization work so well? It really boils down to a pretty simple chain reaction. First, you've got customer pressure. Paying customers demand reliability, and that forces your internal teams to get a grip on their costs. Second, AI stops being a cost center and becomes a profit center, which means someone finally has P&L ownership. And third, and this is the big one, you just can't price a product if you have no idea what it costs you to deliver.
All right, so let's bring this all together. What does this actually mean for you, for finance leaders, for executives? How do you take these insights and actually turn them into a path to get back financial control over your company's AI strategy?
Let's boil it down to 4 key takeaways. Number 1, the margin pressure is real, and it's material. Number 2, visibility is foundational. You have to close those on-prem and API blind spots. Number 3, forecasting isn't just guesswork. It has to become a core discipline. And finally, and this is probably the most important one, monetization drives discipline. If you're giving AI away for free, you're not just missing a revenue opportunity. You're missing your single most powerful lever for cost control.
This quote really sums it all up perfectly. At the end of the day, far too many companies are trying to manage their AI spend with a rearview mirror. Looking at last month's cloud bill to understand a problem that's already happened. The future really belongs to the companies that build proactive, forward-looking systems for financial governance.
And that brings us right back to you and the final question you really need to ask yourself. Take a good, hard look at your own company's AI initiatives. Are you actively building a strategy that protects your profitability? Or are you just building amazing tech that's hiding a financial time bomb in your margins? Thanks so much for joining me.